Man, I ain't even know we was live right now. I ain't even know we was live right now. Look. Hold on, let me do this real quick. Hold up. Hold on. We got to do this the right way. We got to do this the right way. Take that off one time. There we go. I ain't even know we was live right now. What's up? Listen, we going right in. Check this out, right? Let me make sure this audio working. Double salute to everybody that's watching me live and live in color. This is another episode of Roller Tape Podcast with Manager Marty. Listen, we going right in. I didn't even know I really scheduled this live for like 7:40, and I literally just scheduled it like 2 minutes ago. But we here now. I didn't know YouTube was going to put me on live all the way. What up? What up? Let's get it. Listen, let's talk about boxing real quick. You know, I usually have a light soliloquy, a little introduction in the beginning. We're not doing that. We going straight in. Look, right? Ryan Garcia versus Shakur Stevenson. We're going to talk about that. Everything is real quick. We're going. This is a real quick live. Nobody knew I was coming on. I'm just driving past. It's a little drive-by live. Drive-by live. We got Ryan Garcia versus Shakur Stevenson, right? We got Shawn Porter crossing the line. Definitely crossed the line. And we got Richardson Hitchens. Dead wrong. Right? Come on in. Come on in. Hurry up. Hurry up. Hurry up. Grab a plate. I have some food that I want to serve you. Some food for thought. Come on in. Yeah, come on in right now. Yup. Come right on in. Yup. Come on in. Let me cue this up real quick. Yup. This is crazy. We here now. Let's go. Let's go. Y'all gotta grab a plate. Let me give more people time to come on in. This is a small little live, just a little drive-by live real quick. You know what's crazy? The last time I wore this hat, nobody's favorite, I was dissecting the situation with Terrence Crawford, Coach Malachi, and the security guard, right? Whatever happened to that lawsuit? Yeah, they filed a lawsuit in Nebraska, and I think Coach Malachi did. Yo, whatever happened to that? I wore this hat. You know what I mean? Now it's triggering the memory. We going live. Well, we already live, but I'm talking about live with the content. Can I get ask for much? Be congruent with the viewership. Let it be like the viewership. Here we go. Bam. Let me make sure I get this. Yeah, Ryan Garcia versus Shakur Stevenson. Hold up. Where is it at? Hold on. I got to get this right. I got to get this right, man. I'm trying to cue up audio real quick. I want to play this for y'all real quick before we get this thing cooking. Here we go right here. I'm going to play this for y'all one time. This Shawn Porter. We're going to get the Ryan Garcia and Shakur. I want to holler at Shawn Porter real quick. And his homie was sitting next to him. I don't even know the guy he was sitting next to, but I want to talk to these two guys real quick because Shawn Porter had my guy from Philly representing Sicklerville, New Jersey. He had my guy, Woo. We call him Woo over here in Philly. You know what I mean? We call him Woo. And he had Woo on there. Most of y'all know who Woo is. You probably don't know him by Woo. But Woo is Naair Albbright. Y'all remember Naair Albbright? He just fought Frank Martin to a draw. Could have won that fight. I mean, to me, I think he did enough to win, in my personal opinion. I'm not being biased because I'm from Philly or none of that. And I'm not being biased because I know him. I know his team. I know all them guys over there. But the thing is, he did a tremendous job against Frank Martin. You know his last fight, he beat Keyshawn Davis' brother after coming off of a 1.5-year layoff. And the 1.5-year layoff came after he fought Keyshawn Davis. In fact, if you look at all of Keyshawn Davis's opponents, Naair Albbright gave Keyshawn the best competition that any other opponent that Keyshawn Davis had to date. Now, of course, it was an accidental headbutt that caused some contusions that stopped the fight briefly. But the bottom line is, Shawn Porter invited Naair Albbright, to his podcast to interview him. And, Wu was up there with that blue suede. I like how he put that together. The young man was looking sharp. He had the blue suede blazer on with the black. I seen what he was doing. Yeah, Wu was looking sharp, man. He went up there, respectful, honorable, because Naair Albbright is an honorable guy. Y'all remember that situation where Keyshawn Davis headbutted him with the sucker move, right? Yeah. We still waiting for Keyshawn Davis to apologize to that man. But he's not. Has no character. We get it. But Shawn Porter, right? Him and his homie that was sitting next to Naair Albbright. I'm doing too much talking, man. Let me play this, and I want y'all to tell me what y'all think. We're going to air fry on this real quick.
Like all of it, from the film study to, what you thought was going to happen, what the game plan was, opposed to what actually happened when you got in the ring.
Honestly, all right, so from the beginning, I was training for a fight that came before Frank. Like, it was some guy named Adam Azim from London or something like that.
Okay.
It was like a title eliminator, I think.
Yeah.
So that came like on short notice. I think I was going to take that on like a week notice, but I stay in the gym. Yeah. But I was going to take it. So boom, that happened. So it's fight week now for the Adam Azim. He hurt his hand like probably 3 days before I was about to fly out there or something like that. So I'm like, dang, all right, whatever. So I'm back at work. Yeah. I'm working my little CNA job. And
what's that? Hold on. You just gonna throw that out there? CNA, what's that?
Oh yeah, I'm a nurse aide.
Oh, you knew this?
No.
Well, how you just gonna throw that out?
That's why he's here. That's why he's here.
Hey, you got a full-time job.
Yeah.
40 hours a week.
Yeah.
No, I'll be fun. It's part-time, is it full-time?
Full-time.
Oh, goddamn.
Yeah. So I'm at work, and then I think my promoter called me. It's like, yo, Frank Martin. So we got 3 weeks to fight Frank Martin. But I'm like, I'm in shape already. So I was like, heck yeah, like I was with it.
You talking to them on your lunch break, or you just hiding somewhere in the closet?
Yeah, that's how it be. Yeah, that's how it be. I be like,
yo,
that's how it be.
And they calling you on the walkie-talkie like, somebody's dying in room 105.
My man, he got going to massage some old person's feet, talking about some. Take a fight. Like, I mean, like all of it, from the.
All right, we heard enough. Now, Shawn Porter. What is somebody tell me that dude name, man? What's his name? Somebody tell me his name. I'm going to find out this dude, man. I think I seen him on YouTube before. Anyway, this dude, right? First of all, y'all just heard it, right? So Naair Albbright was in an interview with Shawn Porter and on Shawn Porter's platform, the Porter Way podcast. Hey, Shawn, if you listening, I respect you as a fighter, Shawn Porter, but I need to come up on your platform, bro. I need to come up there so you can interview me, because I have some questions I want to ask you, Shawn Porter. And the thing about it is, Shawn Porter knows exactly who I am. Most of you don't know this. Some of you do. You know I super chatted Shawn Porter a couple months back, and he read my super chat, but he still didn't answer my question. But that's neither here nor there. Bottom line is, Shawn Porter had Naair Albbright on his platform. Had the man on his platform, right? Interviewing the man, Naair Albbright. And Wu, right, was basically giving Shawn Porter an answer to his question. And the answer to his question was basically, how did the fight materialize? That's what Shawn Porter was really asking him. How did the fight materialize between you and Frank Martin? So he's telling Shawn Porter he was a last-minute replacement. We're gonna get the Shakur against Ryan and all that. We're gonna get to that. But just come on in. When you come on in, just grab a plate. Yeah, class is in session tonight. Grab a plate. I got some food that I want to serve you, some food for thought. Real quick, double salute to my guy. I miss this guy. One of my friends representing Las Vegas, Nevada. Double salute, Matthew Thomas. He's a day one supporter and a member of the channel. Appreciate the super chat, Matt. Thank you so much, man. Matt says, hey, what it do? The teacher is in the classroom. Absolutely. I miss you, Matt. Here's the thing. Shawn Porter was interviewing Naair Albbright. So when you hear me call him Woo, that's what he's affectionately known as. Because he's from my city. He's from Philadelphia. He represents New Jersey, but that's my guy. His whole family, his team, his promoters, they all know me, right? Good guys, right? But here's the thing. Woo is giving Shawn Porter an answer to his question. He's talking about how the fight materialized between him and Frank Martin. The man had a 3-week or a couple of week notice for that fight, right? But what it is he didn't know about it. Why? Because he was prepared for a title eliminator with some other fighter. But because he's dedicated to his craft, because he is always in the gym, because he's always making the sacrifices necessary to work hard as a professional boxer, right? Being ready so that he won't have to get ready, so that when a phone call comes in, like it did, on a major platform like a DAZN, on the undercard of a major event like a Ryan Garcia versus Mario Barrios, he was ready. And he's talking about how he was already prepared and agreed to the terms to fight Frank Martin. And all he did was tell the fact that he was at work, right? And the guy who was sitting next to Shawn Porter, I'm going to find out who that is. And if somebody know who he is, please let me know in the live chat or the comment section after this live go off, if you're watching the replay, right? But they start trying to clown this man. First of all, the guy that was sitting next to Shawn Porter cut him off, interrupted this man. Oh, you just going to let that slide by us that quick? Yeah, because it's no big deal to him. It was no big deal to him to tell y'all that he's working a full-time job. That's why it was so natural for him to just say it right off the cuff and continue to tell the story about how the fight materialized between him and Frank Martin. They didn't even let their guests finish answering the question. They interrupted this man, and the guy that was sitting next to Shawn Porter, right? He gonna say, oh, what you was on your lunch break when you got the call from your promoter to fight Frank Martin? What you was hiding in the closet? What they was calling you on a walkie-talkie? I don't respect that. Because I told you all, and I am bothered by it too, by the way. 2.5 years ago, I told, most of you wasn't here, all my new audience members, y'all wasn't here, right? But I just was starting out on YouTube. Right? I was on YouTube probably for maybe 6 months or something, right? But some of my day one supporters, like my man, Matt Thomas, that's in the live chat, right? Omega Red, right? Some of these guys and ladies that remember me from the beginning on my YouTube journey, y'all remember me telling y'all as a boxing manager, right? That most professional boxers have full-time jobs outside of boxing. Remember that? Some of y'all might not remember that, but that's okay. To my new audience members, I've been saying this for years. A lot of professional boxers, they hold day jobs, like 9 to 5 regular jobs that they work every single day. It does not mean that they don't dedicate themselves to the craft of the sport of boxing as professionals. It's just that in the climate that we're living in, most of these professional boxers don't have a major machine behind them, right? Don't have a major promoter behind them to give them the opportunities to fight as an A-side, as a world champion, as a contender, right? But here you got, who was that? William? Thank you, William Old School. Appreciate you. William Old School, remember me from back then. But these guys, and Shawn Porter was in on it too, these guys that were listening to the answer, Shawn Porter and that other guy, they started shaming this man for having a 40-hour-a-week job. Even Shawn Porter, right? Even Shawn Porter said, is it part-time? Don't lie to us, man. Is it part-time or full? And the man said full-time. Naair Albbright, he said it's full-time. It's a full-time job. I'm a CNA. You know what I'm saying? What's wrong with, since when do black men criticize other black men for having a legitimate job? You know, I don't want to say this because I got Matthew Thomas here. That's my guy, and he's older than me, right? And Matthew Thomas know me, right? Omega Red, these guys been around me for years on YouTube, but I have to say this. William Old School, I have to say, and I know this is not the norm for me to say these things, but it's bothered me so bad that both of these guys shame Naair Albbright instead of praising this man for still being in the gym, working hard, perfecting his craft, dedicating himself, still making the sacrifices necessary to balance his life as a professional boxer, as a CNA worker, to help patients in need, you understand? To take care of his family. These guys shame him. Shawn Porter and the guy that's next to him, bunch of dick eaters. And I said it. That's how angry I am. I'm not mad to the point where I'm going to get out of character, but these guys was dick eating. And they disrespected Wu, and they disrespected the black community. Because how can you sit up there and shame a man for having a job? Okay? Everybody wasn't fortunate like a Shawn Porter who had their fathers in their life in the black community. You understand? Their fathers training them. First of all, their father banning their life in the first place. Then their father training them, entering into a sport where a fighter can get hurt. You understand? To have the protection of his father with him. To have the sacrifices that his father made for him. I'm talking about Shawn Porter. To be a decorated amateur. To get the eyeballs on him. To get a phone call from a stranger named Al Heyman and Sam Watson. A lot of guys don't get the knock on the door. You know how many amateurs that I've talked to over the last 10 years? Remember, I'm a USA boxing official. Most of you know that. Judge, referee, timekeeper. Most of you know that for the amateur boxing program, right? Oh, okay. You know how many fighters? I'm talking about young people, little kids, teenagers, young adults, and even adults who wish they had the opportunity like a Shawn Porter. You understand what I mean? And this guy want to shame Naair Albbright? Dick eater. That's what I call him. And the black guy that was sitting next to Wu, that's cool with Shawn Porter, he a dick eater too. Both of these guys piss me off for shaming. I hate when people try to shame or bully somebody. This man has a full-time job. Okay. But guess what? He went in that ring and still did his thing against a guy who's experienced and decorated like a Frank Martin and really won the fight for real. But it's subjective. It could have went either way. So I'm not going to get mad at the judge's decisions because it was a draw officially, but it could have went either way. But look at how this man performed and still went to work every day and still trained in the gym. And still spent time with his child or his children and his family. And you guys shame him? You guys disrespect him? You don't get no respect from me. Neither one of them. But I would like to go on Shawn Porter platform. I want to ask him a few questions. Now since you wanna, joke on Wu, Shawn Porter, let me ask you a question now. Would your career would have turned out the way it did if you didn't have Al Heyman? Would your career would have turned out that the way it did if you didn't have your father? And you know where I'm going next. Would your career would have turned out the way it did if you didn't have Victor Conti? Can't leave that out, Shawn Porter. You was a part of the snack program. And you called the white man to help you. R.I.P. Victor Conti, because he don't have nothing to do with this. But I'm talking about Shawn Porter. And I hope somebody shared this live with him too. Share it with him. Because I'm going to tag him in it. I'm going to tag his podcast in the description when I'm done with this. I want you to know that. Shawn Porter, you had Victor Conti enhancing your performances. What about that? What about some of them fights you probably would have lost? And you probably would have, and guess what? If you and Bud wasn't on Snack together, the fight would have been more boring, and you probably would have won that. You probably would have won that because you was on Snack. That's why you didn't get hurt like the other previous Terrence Crawford's performances. And speaking of Snack, let me ask you this question, Shawn Porter. And you can't get mad at me for asking this because I even asked Victor Conti this. And I have the proof. I have the evidence. You know what happened on my platform. And I asked Victor about that. Did you ever get VADA tested when you fought Shawn Porter? Did you ever get VADA tested when you fought Terrence Crawford? Because VADA has no record of you or Terrence Crawford getting tested. And some of you remember me bringing this up to Victor when he was here. You know I own the content. I have the evidence right here. And I will roll the tape on it. When your man Victor told me it was no testing for that fight. Yeah, he tried to lie to me in the beginning, but I caught him. And when he came back up here, he finally told me the truth when I pressed him. So how do we know that you was a clean fighter, Shawn? I'm not saying you wasn't a clean fighter, Shawn Porter. I'm just saying, how do we know? We don't have no record of you testing for VADA, especially for that Terrence Crawford fight. And if you didn't have the right team around you, the guys putting money behind you, the guys using that big machine called Showtime and other platforms that you was on, you probably wouldn't even got certain title fights with Errol Spence Jr., certain title fights with Danny Garcia, certain title fights with Terrence Crawford. Because Naair Albbright, didn't have the big backing behind him. So yes, he do have to go to work every day. He don't own a suit collections company like you, Shawn Porter. He don't have the opportunities, Shawn Porter, that you had. You know, when FX1 and Fox gave you that microphone, yeah, Al Heyman and them helped you get that job. Were you commentating on the fights and all that? Yeah, Wu didn't get those opportunities. But you were blessed and fortunate to get those opportunities. And you want to shame this man for working a 40-hour-a-week job? Shame on you, bro. And your man that was next to you, a dick eater. Yeah, I said it. Both of y'all, dick eating. And instead of respecting that man, bro, he taking care of his family. Since when do black men supposed to shame other black men for having a... You know what's interesting about that? Bill Haney tried to shame me. Y'all remember that? Oh, he's a Walmart manager at Walmart, right? Now, I ran along with the joke. Everybody that knows me know I don't work at Walmart. But my thing is, like I asked Bill Haney, what difference do it make? Let's say I did work at Walmart. Let's say I was a manager at Walmart. Since when do black men ever shame black men for having a legitimate job to pay their bills and take care of their children? Since when we start doing that, y'all? Where's the black community when we need them? All you pro-black YouTube channels that didn't back my play when them white men disrespected me, this is when you need to step up, you pro-black channels, and hold the black man Shawn Porter and the other black man next to him accountable for shaming another black man. I disavow Shawn Porter and the guy that was sitting next to him to shame this black man for being a CNA. Do you want to know how hard it is of being a CNA? A certified nursing assistant? You understand? Now, look at that. His job title is certified nursing assistant. He's a certified nurse. The man had to do prerequisite training and testing to be certified. It's a profession. Oh, you was on a walkie-talkie when you got the call. They was calling you on a walkie-talkie, dick eater. They was calling you on a walkie-talkie when your promoter called. At least he was able to get the phone call. Some fighters don't even get a phone call at the last minute to fight on a big platform like the Zone. But instead of y'all praising that, instead of y'all praising the man's hard work in the gym and still committing to his work schedule to help disabled and elderly people in need, y'all sit up there and shame that man? Who a victim? Who in my chat saying I'm a victim? This not about me, homie. It's not about me being a victim. Naair's a victim. These guys shamed him, bro. What are you talking about? Since when we throw shots at a black man for working in America, a legitimate job? The man's trying to take care of his family. Oh, is it part-time? Shawn Porter talking about, is it part-time or is it full-time? What difference does it make? The man is trying to provide for his family and he's still committed to boxing. As a professional, not as an amateur now. You know how hard it is to be a professional? Shawn Porter, you know how hard it is to be a professional boxer, Shawn. You didn't have to worry about getting the day job a 9 to 5 because you had certain privileges, Shawn. So you shouldn't look down on that man for not having the same privileges as you. Now, to my new audience, I'm gonna play that last video again, so y'all know that I'm not just ranting and raving on these guys, because y'all might have missed it because y'all came to class late. Hold up.
I mean, like all of it, you know, from the film study to,
Dick eaters.
you know, what you thought was going to happen, what the game plan was, opposed to what actually happened when you got in the ring.
Honestly, all right, so from the beginning, I was training for a fight that came before Frank. Like, it was some guy named Adam Azim from London or something like that.
Okay.
It was like a title eliminator, I think.
Yeah.
So that came like on short notice. I think I was gonna take that on like a week notice, but I stay in the gym. But I was gonna take it. So boom, that happened. So it's fight week now for the Adam Azim. He hurt his hand like probably 3 days before I was about to fly out there or something like that. So I'm like, dang, all right, whatever. So I'm back at work.
Yeah.
I'm working my little CNA job. And
what's that? Hold on. You just gonna throw that out there? CNA? What's that?
Oh yeah, I'm a nurse aide.
Oh, you know this?
No.
Oh,
How you just gonna throw that
That's
out?
why he's here. That's why he's here.
Hey, you got a full-time job.
oh yeah.
40 hours a week.
Yeah.
No, I'll be fun. It's part-time,
Yeah.
is it full-time?
Full-time.
Oh, goddamn.
Yeah.
Damn.
So I'm at work, and then I think my promoter called me. It's like, yo, Frank Martin, da-da-da. So we got 3 weeks to fight Frank Martin. But I'm like, I'm in shape already. So I was like, heck yeah, like I was with it.
You talking them on your lunch break, or you just hiding somewhere in the closet?
Yeah, that's how it be. Yeah, that's how it be. I be like,
yo,
that's how it be.
and they calling you on the walkie-talkie like, somebody's dying in room 105.
My man, he got going to massage some old person's feet.
I stopped it right there at the screen record. I'm done with these clowns for that. Was you in the closet when you got the call from your promoter? Was they calling you on the walkie? Dick eating. How dare you shame that man for putting food on his table to feed his family? Oh, because y'all privileged now. Y'all got a little platform where you can make money off of YouTube and other social media platforms, right? So y'all get to shame everybody. Dick eaters. I don't care. I know I'm cursing tonight. That's the closest you might hear it. But the point that I'm really getting at is these guys were wrong for what they did. There's no place in boxing for that. The man was answering Shawn Porter's question. So why did y'all keep interrupting him? The guy, that's why I'm saying he a dick eater, the guy that was with him, was with Shawn Porter. Because he kept interrupting. The man is trying to tell y'all how the fight materialized between him and Frank Martin. The man almost lost a big payday. He was preparing for a regional title, eliminator, world title, contention. The phone call came in that, yo, we missed the fight because your opponent got injured. 3 days before the fight, right before he got to the hotel, right before he got at the airport to go over to the venue in the hotel. That's what they do. The promoters, they send, the flight itinerary a few days before the fight. So what I'm saying to you is he almost lost a payday. You understand what I'm saying? But God opened up a door for this young man to get a different call, a better opportunity. And I say better, not discrediting his opponent, but at the same time, he's on a bigger platform, DAZN, on an undercard of a Ryan Garcia versus Mario Barrios fight. More eyes and exposure would be on him against a guy who is known, Frank Martin. It don't get no better than that. And he had 3 additional weeks to train. And still had to punch that clock and go to work every day to feed his family. The man that was sitting next to Shawn Porter kept interrupting him to throw shots at him for working. When is this cool? As grown men, when is this cool? When we start doing this and making this acceptable? Nobody else ain't gonna say nothing about it. I am. Now, granted, I did just see that the night before. I didn't just see that this morning. I didn't just see that. I actually saw this last night. This interview. Actually, once I screen recorded that part, after I heard that, I actually stopped the whole video. I didn't even want to see no more. So where I stopped at, from what y'all just heard, I stopped the whole. I didn't even want to see anymore. But these clowns shaming this man. I ain't gonna keep repeating myself. Let's get to Shawn Porter. Let's get to Shakur Stevenson versus Ryan Garcia. Real quick. First of all, let's do this. Shakur Stevenson is at 140. Shakur Stevenson wasn't thinking about Ryan Garcia. Shakur Stevenson called out Conor Benn. After he beat T.O., won the world title at the 140-pound division, he called out Conor Benn. He didn't call out Ryan. Okay, cool. Now that we got that established. Keyshawn Davis, 140, calling out Devin Haney. Why does these guys keep calling out other fighters from different weight classes? Instead of fighting, you know what's funny? Keyshawn Davis don't want to fight Shakur. Shakur don't want to fight Keyshawn. Y'all in the same division. Okay, now that we already established that from before, when y'all kept saying y'all brothers and y'all not gonna fight each other. Okay, so who else y'all gonna fight? The biggest fight for Ryan Garcia. I don't care what Ryan Garcia say on Twitter. The biggest fight for Ryan Garcia is Devin Haney. Ryan Garcia and Devin Haney will make more money fighting each other for 2 world championship titles in a unification bout than Shakur fighting Ryan and for Devin fighting Keyshawn. It's very simple. Let's not try to throw all of these cones on the road. The biggest fight in 2026 is Ryan Garcia versus Devin Haney in a unification bout. Bar none, hands down. Now, if Keyshawn Davis or Shakur want to go fight somebody else at 140, like a Gary Antoine Russell, fine. I'm just throwing his name out there because he's at 140 and he just got finished fighting. Fine. Makes a lot of sense. Hey, Miss Joette. And I apologize to all the women watching me live and the replay of this live if y'all heard me use that bad word. Okay? But the point that I want to get at is we don't need social media to be saturated with Shakur Stevenson versus Ryan Garcia. No. Y'all keep telling me y'all want the best fighters to fight the best fighters. Y'all keep telling me how boxing is dry because everybody's ducking each other. Y'all been saying that for years, some of you boxing fans. Okay, now we have the opportunity for Ryan Garcia, who just knocked down Mario Barrios, knocked him down. What round was that? The first? Yes. Dominated him in dramatic fashion, won the world title. Devin Haney, he knocked down Brian Norman Jr. What round was that? Second round. Won a world title. It's very simple how this goes. The stars are lined up for both of these guys to fight each other. Ryan Garcia, Devin Haney. 2026. What's the problem? Shakur Stevenson, I got to holler at you too. You went on Stephen A. Smith's show, and when he brought up the name Gervonta Tank Davis, Shakur Stevenson said, oh, I don't want to mention him. I don't want to talk about him. But when Ryan Garcia's name came up, Shakur was so definitive in his quest to fight Ryan. See, everybody want to look at Ryan Garcia as an easy pick. No, we don't want to see that. Shakur can fight Tank Davis. if Tank decides to come back. Shakur can fight Gary Antoine Russell at 140. There's other guys out there. Hell, Shakur Stevenson can fight Pitbull Cruz. Keyshawn Davis can fight Pitbull Cruz. Why not? Shakur Stevenson can fight, what's the other guy at 140? Lamont Roach. Keyshawn Davis, Lamont Roach. These guys are at 140. What's the point of Ryan Garcia winning a WBC world title only to come down in weight or meet at a catch weight, still gotta pay a sanctioning fee to fight Shakur, and there's nothing there that benefits Ryan Garcia if he wins. Nothing. No. If you're gonna pay a sanctioning fee, it's because the title need to be on the line, not just because you're walking around toting the belt. And you got another opportunity to win another world title, Ryan. And so does Devin Haney. It's just very simple. I said my piece on that. Before I let y'all go, Richardson Hitchens. I'm the first one that spoke on it while the fights were going on, the preliminary. Then it came up to before Naair Albbright fought Frank Martin. I did a short. Go on my YouTube channel. And when this go off, go back on the channel, you're going to see, right? Right? I did a short. And I said what I said about Richardson Hitchens pulling out the fight. And I even said, oh, man, I was joking. I don't know if he had diarrhea or not. But he definitely had diarrhea of the mouth in the buildup of this fight between him and Oscar Duarte. Had a lot of diarrhea of the mouth. Talking real spicy. Talking a lot of trash. Only to do the same thing Keyshawn Davis did. See when something was going on with his weight, he pulled out. He wasn't comfortable. He was ill. Where the paperwork? See, y'all keep letting these fighters get away because I know the business of boxing. I know how it works. So when I say paperwork, these fighters and promoters, they know why I'm asking for the paperwork. When I say it, these trainers, they know why I'm asking for the paperwork when I say it on YouTube. Where the paperwork at? We still waiting to see the paperwork from Floyd Schofield Jr. when he was so-called sick when he pulled out of the Shakur fight. Where the paperwork? I'm still waiting to see the paperwork from that. Keyshawn Davis pulling out of that De Los Santos fight. Where the paperwork? And now Richardson Hitchens does the same thing. Where the paperwork at? Where the doctor's note, a real one. Not the AI version. What happened? What happened? A few hours before the fight? What happened? Sounds suspicious to me. I've never seen that happen in boxing. But things happen. And listen, if Richardson Hitchens have a legitimate excuse, I'm all for it. Because things do happen in boxing. But come on, Richardson Hitchens. Matter of fact, look, Shakur can fight him. He's 140. Keyshawn Davis can fight him. They had a little face-off out there in New York not too long ago. See, it's other fighters that these guys can fight at 140. And guess what? I don't think Oscar Duarte should have to be penalized. Okay, you was ill that night. Your next fight, give Oscar Duarte his opportunity. Richardson Hitchens. I mean, that's all I'm saying. Unacceptable. Now, if it's legitimate, I get it. But where the proof at, though? Where the evidence at? We can't keep going by hearsay. I need to see the paperwork, me personally. For real, for real. Illness, what kind of illness? What happened? What kind of illness? You got a whole team around you. What did you eat? Trying to rehydrate. What happened? I mean, that's what I think about when I think about illness. You know, after the weigh-in, you rehydrate, you can eat whatever you want. I get it. What happened? And Oscar Duarte said it on a live stream while the fight was going on. The fight streaming was going on in the zone. He even said that morning he looked fine on the scales when he weighed in. So what happened? What happened? Yo, somebody do me a favor too. Before I let y'all go, please do me a favor. Somebody please send this live to Shawn Porter. Send it to him on Instagram. You know, some of these guys don't answer me when I reach out to them. I've been reaching out to certain fighters to come up here for a long time. But you know, when we start talking about snack, VADA testing, you know, these guys don't want to come up here and talk to me. They'll talk to everybody else's platform. But they know when they sit up here, they're going to have to deal with certain questions. I respect it. I get it. But somebody send this to Shawn Porter, man. Send this live to him. I'm going to tag him in it, in the description. Send it to him. I'm going to tag his name in it, in the title of this when this get off. I want to holler at him about what happened with Naair Albbright, man. I want to talk to him and the guy that was sitting next to him for shaming that man. Somebody can send this to Richardson Hitchens, Shakur, Ryan. Send it to them all. We can't keep doing this suckery in boxing. Because every time something goes left, you know what people say on YouTube? Oh, man, the business of boxing, it's corrupt, the politics. And these guys ain't never make a transaction in this business. But when something is wrong, everybody want to jump on it and talk negative about. No, what about when everything is going smooth? Like this Ryan Garcia versus Devin Haney situation. The stars is lined up. Let's talk about it. We can't keep picking and choosing when we want to talk about certain things. I deal with it all when it comes across my plate, when it's newsworthy and it's sensible. That's all I'm saying. I miss y'all. I thank y'all for coming. You know what? I'm doing way too much. Y'all know my slogan, right?